Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode we had another off season, and I think our team is definitely starting to hit its peak pretty much in terms of how good it's going to look on paper, because I don't think we could get really much better than what it looks like right now. As you can see, this is probably the lineup we are going to be running going into the season. Our fourth line is probably the strongest it's ever been because of Yuri Sergeyev, who has really grown to being a very solid two-way forward with really good passing. So I'm hoping that he can kind of help out with the offense on that fourth line and also play great defensively. We also do have a reworked top six this season because we are deciding to run Aiden Stajan on the top line with Ahinen and Wilms. So we have the Saw line instead of the Law line. And then Lehman will get demoted to play with Bottle and Del Rovere. So hopefully that kind of spreads out our offense on our top six a bit and makes us also a little bit better of a defensive team. Also with Mitchell Rizzi jumping to an 82, that should also help our defensive play quite a bit because now he's actually like a legit top four. So we actually have a legit defensive core for the first time. We are also going to be probably scratching Paul Mayer at the beginning of the season at least. We will probably turn injuries on for this year as well, just because that way we can get Petterman and Mayer to play some games, but probably not on a super big strength, so there's probably won't be a ton of injuries, but never know. We are also going to be looking for another coach to bring into this team just to maybe help out with the like the -2 on that top six pairing. Also, the fact that our power play lines don't have good chemistry whatsoever, especially on the second unit. Like, I was basically reworking our power play lines after the last episode, and it's definitely a challenge to get this second unit to have a good minus or plus minus, I should say, because of the fact that you can see like the carry and dump is okay with some of these guys, but it's the power play strategy that none of these guys seem to match really, which is not ideal. So we might have to look for ourselves for a new coach. I did offer a coach a contract, so we'll see if he ends up accepting. I don't know if he would be our head coach, though. I'm hoping that the assistant coaches could kind of help with the chemistry on the power play and all that. If they don't, we might have to still look for another head coach, but it depends on how his team simulates and all that type of thing. But anyways, enough of me rambling. Let's get to some comments before we get to the season simulation and see how this team does. So the first one is from Ezra Hambrick, who says, "Good video, Snipe. Lots of great pieces added to the team. Regarding watching OT in the playoffs, I think if it's a non-elimination game, then just sim like normal. But for elimination games, it would be exciting to see the actual game winner get scored." So yeah, in elimination games, I guess that makes sense. We'll end up watching the overtime. Hopefully those overtimes don't last too long, because I have seen AI overtimes kind of sometimes go to like 2 to 3 overtimes, and then it's like an extra 20 minutes of video footage or 10 minutes of video footage. So hopefully if we end up going to an overtime, it ends within the first overtime. The next comment is from Ian.NoLove, who says, "I definitely see some similarities with the Anchorage franchise. I'm super excited for a Hungarian talent to prove himself and add another name in the Hall of Fame Snipes roster. Sad draft overall. I'm okay with giving Sonnenberg good chances because at least he grows. Also, I do consider changing assistant/associate coaches to the defensive side with A-B power play or penalty kill chemistry. Hopefully it could really help. Also, Felipe Flood deserves to start over Mayer. Stajan in first line, Wilm for center, Del Rovere and Ahinen for A's, or actually maybe not for center, actually it's for captain, and Ahinen and Del Rovere for alternates. Expect 100 plus points for Wilm, being back on track with a huge contract steal extension. 49 wins for the Raiders this season, and best performance yet from Della and goalie. And it would be my pleasure to see our coach, Mr. Snipe, do all the special teams. I'm still in shame of my recommendations from last season, and don't worry about those. This team just really does not have the good coach for that unit. You can see even with these units, they don't really work that well. So we are probably going to try and flip or change around our coaching staff a little bit. I honestly might promote one of the assistant coaches. I did offer, like I said, a coach a contract, but I might promote one of our assistants like Joe Pavelski to be the head coach, and then see if that works out with our special teams better. But hopefully it also makes our 5-on-5 still pretty good like it is right now. Next comment is from Captain Burnout, who says, "Great video, Snipe. I always love watching your content. What I think I would try to do is bring in a defensive coach to help with the defense chemistry, and possibly at that point be able to bring Flood in up and bring down Mayer to the AHL. I think Flood would do better probably on the top 6, plus he's got better potential, and overall, if the defense chemistry is better, it might help out your goalie. And yeah, I totally agree with that, because Paul Mayer, he's an offensive defenseman. He kind of works with the top 6, but it makes it a -1. Felipe Flood at the moment makes it a -2. But yeah, Felipe Flood's 24. He's a low elite, so he can still get maybe 1 or 2 more years of growth. But he would probably be much better to have in the lineup over a guy like Paul Mayer, who is 27, also a pending free agent too. So we are probably going to keep him up here in the NHL though, because I probably will turn injuries on, like I was mentioning, just because obviously we kind of want to make it a little bit more challenging in a sense, even though it has been a bit challenging at this point. It's just more so that way we're getting kind of more realistic results, and you don't have guys like Wilm playing 82 seasons for 20 straight years or whatever. And then the last and final comment is from Flame Husky, who says, I wonder if the AI bites you if you leave an RFA like Piero Zabala unsigned for a long period. This could potentially get you some good compensation picks. I know you can't make trades in Draft to Glory, so does RFA baiting count as fair play? Goal prediction from Mauricio 62, Halifax wins 50. And the stuff with the compensation, I don't really know if I want to do that or not, because I always find that compensation, obviously, like if it's a good elite prospect, you could get like a good amount of compensation for them. And it's almost like trading them in a sense for those picks, but at the same time, I don't really know. So if you guys want me to take compensation on players like that, if for some reason a player gets a contract like that in the offseason, let me know, because maybe I'll be willing to do that. But at the same time, I feel like it would just make our team even easier to build up, and I want it to be kind of more challenging in a sense. So that for us just only using our own picks, I think that makes a lot more sense. Like, if we take compensation for a player, maybe we have to, like, I don't know, give a team all those free picks. And basically the 7th round pick that we trade, or we get from trading all our picks, we don't end up using that player whatsoever. So we could end up doing that, but also we could try and use compensation if we want to, but it would make it a lot more easy, I think, to make this team into a cup contender, because we built this team up with just our own picks, right? So just imagine what we could do if teams were taking a chance on a lot of these other guys in free agency. But anyways, that is that. Let's see if that coach accepts that I offered a contract to, and then I will play around with like Pavelski as potentially as starting coach or a head coach. I'm hearing that your staff chemistry is low. I was going to say no, but I want to be a solution to the issue. Hey, that's very nice of you there, Mark. I appreciate that quite a bit. So Mark McIntyre has joined the AHL coaching staff. He might end up getting promoted at some point to being an NHL coach, because he has really good, like, he's a defensive coach. But we also do have right now Nichols and Pavelski as associate coaches and stuff that are defensive oriented. So I am going to try and rework our coaching staff a bit here. So how do I remove these guys again? Can I not demote them right now? I might have to wait till the start of the season. Or no, it's probably because I have a full coaching staff. That's probably why. I actually should probably fire one of the goalie coaches, just because of the fact we just hired another coach. So let's just fire the goalie coach in the AHL. That way we could kind of rework our coaching staff a little bit, because when we have a full coaching staff, we can't demote people and all that. So we are going to temporarily demote our best coach right now to an AHL goalie coach, and this guy is going to become our interim head coach. And then we will put Nickerson back to associate. So we'll try Nichols first, and we'll try Pavelski, see if that helps out anything with the penalty kill, the power play, that type of thing. And then 5-on-5, hopefully it has good chemistry as well, because we're... Okay, this coach has really good chemistry on 5-on-5. Very good chemistry 5-on-5. That's a nice thing to see. Defense looks a lot better too. That's actually kind of cool. Was not expecting one of the associates to work like this right away. How about our special teams, though? That's the main thing. +4 on the first unit. Even 0 on the second unit from a -3. So this guy actually might be a better option. There is a -1 on the 4-man unit, which is not ideal. -2 on this one. Not ideal, but it's not terrible. What about penalty kill? +5, +1, 0. Yeah, this guy's looking pretty good as a coach. There is a couple units that are not very good, though, still. But let's demote this guy temporarily. And we will see if the Joe Pavelski is better as a head coach. If he is, we will use Joe Pavelski as a head coach. If he's not, Nichols is probably the head coach this year. And then Nickerson will be our associate. And then we probably need to still hire ourselves another AHL goalie coach now just because we fired one. But yeah, let's move this guy to being... Actually, let's go back to you for goalie coach for a second. Let's move you back to associate for a second. And let's move you to our head coach and see what Joe Pavelski is making his team look like. Does he make it look better than the other coach? 5-on-5 once again looks really good. Yeah, 5-on-5 is solid. Not bad. It's not as good. Defense still has that -1 with Pavelski, which is not what we're looking for. Power play has still that -3. So Pavelski's pretty much the exact same type of thing. So I think we got to go with Nichols as our head coach. And Pavelski's going to be like an assistant, I think. And then the associate will be whatever his first name is. So we will make you our assistant for a second. We'll make you our head coach. We'll move Pavelski to associate because he's got one of the worst. And then we'll make you our assistant. Actually, maybe not our assistant. We'll make you our assistant. There you go. And you our associate. Perfect. Okay. Now we need to still hire ourselves an AHL goalie coach, though, just so our AHL goalies still get some development. Let's see if there's anybody out there. There probably should be, right? Let's just go to the bottom of this, see if we can find a goalie coach. Or somebody that's good with teaching goalies, at least. That way we get one back into the AHL, because I didn't really want to fire a coach, but we had to in order to kind of reflip our coaches around. We could also take a look at the guy we just hired, but I think he's a worse rating. You know what? That might actually be a better idea, is taking a look at that other coach still too. Because technically we didn't do that. I don't know if I'm going to actually hire an AHL goalie coach again this season. Just because it's going to add too much time to the episode. But let's see if McIntyre could be our NHL head coach. If he's actually a good fit. See if he's better than the other guy. Let's see. Once again, really good 5-on-5. I like it. Defense still has that -1 though, which is not really what we're looking for. But what about special teams? Do they look much improved? They look pretty much the exact same type of thing. Yeah, this guy's not our head coach. Yeah, it's going to be Nichols. Nichols is going to be the head coach. I don't know what his team fit is, so hopefully it's a pretty good team fit, because maybe he'll be the team that take us to that next level. So you're going to be our head coach, and that's all perfect and ready to go. So let me just go to the special teams again for a second. I know this has been a long time just at the beginning of this episode rambling and trying to get this set up, but I want our team to have the best success it's had yet. I think our power play is fine. -2 on this unit isn't ideal though. So, what could we do here? We could move Wilm to this part, move Ahin into here. Then we could probably go with, not Del Rivera down the middle. Probably go with like Pure as a Bottle. No, that makes a -3. What about Stagin? Stagin also doesn't really work that well. I don't know. Maybe we'll just kind of throw the Sheriff on this unit. That makes it a -2. At least it's a little bit better. We'll just keep the Sheriff on that unit so he can get more time and he can hopefully pick up some points. But there we go. That's going to be our team for this season. Let's also briefly make sure the AHL is good. I already adjusted the lines. Not sold on the chemistry really down there in the AHL, so maybe we'll actually promote somebody different to the AHL head coach, just because that chemistry on that defense is pretty rough. And we want our guys to develop, not stay like that. So let's move McIntyre maybe to being our head coach in the AHL. Might as well. And then we will move this guy to an assistant. Let's see how that looks in terms of our AHL lineup. I just want to make sure both leagues are set up in proper. Looks fine on offense. Defense still looks like trash. Yikes. Okay. Well, I guess we might have to run with the trash coach in the AHL, but that is okay, I guess. Hopefully those guys still grow, because, yeah, that's not good. We might have to look for a better AHL coach in the offseason, but let's get to the regular season and see how this team does. I am very excited. Obviously, the NHL is our main focus right now. Hopefully, still the AHL can get development, even with the bad coach. Okay, so preseason's going pretty good so far, which is a good sign. 5-2-1. Probably Wilm leading us in points, my guess, right? Yep, 12 points in 8 games, 6 goals, 6 assists. I am curious to see what he does this season, because it's going to be interesting to see how the top line does with Lehman getting dropped to the second line, because obviously we've never done that before. So it should be some interesting results. Let's go to January the 1st and see how we are doing at that stage. We should be a better team than last year, so we should have our best season yet, and then hopefully playoff-wise we have a good season ahead as well. Off to a little bit of a sluggish start to start the season, kind of win-loss type mode, which is not ideal. Not ideal. I don't know if it's because we dropped our coach. Ooh, 8-8 in our first 16 games. I don't know if I like that too much. Let me stop the sim for a second here. 8-8 in our first 16 games is not a good thing to have. Willem is over point per game, which is nice. Let me look at our lines again here quickly. I am curious to why we're simulating bad. Oh, Felipe Flood's actually a 79. Let's split up our defensive oh, what the heck? I don't think I've ever seen a +3 jump to a -3 like that. Jeez. I don't like that -1 though. There's not really much I could do on this defensive core. How's the goalies looking overall wise? Looking okay. Trying to think of what we could do. There's not much I can do in terms of changing our offense. I think our team should still simulate good. I know we're off to a sluggish start, but I think we'll find ourselves all of a sudden. So let's keep on simulating. Let's not worry that we're 8-8. Let's see if our team could all of a sudden just go on a tear and get well above 500, because that happens quite a bit too. Like, we have too good of a team to be a 500 team, so I don't know if it's the coach, though. It could be the coach that's not working well with his team. I might have to make the other coach the head coach. 12-11-1 is not good at all. We are currently 3 points back of a playoff spot, though. Our division is literally skin tight. 23 points for the Panthers in dead last. And the team that's in second place, which is Buffalo, has 29. There's only 10 points separating first and last place. So if we go on a tear, all of a sudden we'll do good. Stajan seems to be doing really well as a top liner, which is really good to see. So I think we got to keep the team the same and just hope that it fixes itself. We'll go one more month, and if we're above 500 at that point, at least something's changing. If we're below 500, I might have to make some line adjustments or coaching adjustments, because I don't like the win-loss ratio. We've lost 3 in a row, 4 in a row. We're not scoring enough goals in some of these games too, which is not good. This is a really weird season. It's definitely the coach that's dragging us down, I think, because we should not be this bad. But our chemistry is better than it was last year, so it shouldn't be this bad. Like, Stajan's over point per game. We are at 36 points. Last playoff spot has 40 points. We have 2 more games played. Okay, we're changing back to our old coach. Nichols is not the one we want to use as a head coach. So, yeah, this guy's going back to head coach. I know it's kind of weird to just flip-flop them through the season, but I don't really like how this team is simulating with that other coach. I know it does technically make our defensive core worse and our special teams worse, but something has to give, you know. Something has to give. So, yeah, we do have that -2 still, but we are going to rock with it. And we need the goaltending to improve, because I know you guys were saying Sonnenberg might have his best season yet, but right now I don't think he does. Unless it's just our offensive depth is not that good in terms of scoring. But we should be able to find ourselves in the second half. If we miss the playoffs this year, I'm actually going to be kind of mad, because I honestly don't think this team should be below 500 at this point. But let's go to the 31st. We need to be above 500 at that stage, or else this season might be lost before we even get started. See, the new coach comes in, or the old coach comes in, he wins 3 straight games, but then we lose a couple. Even with this coach, we're still losing games. That's weird. I feel like the game is trying to cheese me, just because I like cheesed everybody's contracts. Still below 500, 23, 25, and 2. We are almost 10 points out of a playoff spot. How? The top line is killing it right now, but it seems like every other line is not. Oh boy. I don't know what's happening with this team at all. I think we got to go back to the original lines. I know Stajan's been killing it, but I got to go back to the old top line to see if that helps out things. Because right now, oof. I don't want to put minuses on both lines. We could move Sea-Doo down, split up Sea-Doo and Kolesnik. Yeah, we'll do that. I don't know why this team's simulating bad. We have a better backup goaltender this year as well. So there should be no reason why we're simulating this bad. Like, we need to have, like, almost like a perfect last, like, 3 months of the season. Because, yeah, being 8 points back of a wild card spot and we only have one more game played than them is not ideal. Like, the top place in the division has 63 points. We're on 48. How are we this bad? Does not make sense. This is completely unmotivated me right now. I was really happy for the season to see what our team does, and for some reason it's just not working well. Maybe I'll rework the bottom 6 a bit on this team. There needs to be something that needs to be changed up on this team. Like, we're scoring a lot of goals from our top line, but everything else is just not ideal right now. Is it because we have depth options? Oh, I forgot to turn injuries on. Well, maybe I shouldn't turn injuries on at this point because it turns out this team is not ready for the playoffs. Let's see. What could we do here? Anybody good at face-offs other than Sherov? Not really. Let's swap Sergeyev and Vlasic. I know I like Vlasic a lot, but I honestly got to find something to rework this team a little bit. I don't know. I honestly don't know what the answer is. I wish I did, because this is a very concerning season. Like, I didn't think draft lottery was going to be on our minds. Okay, let's go to the 28th. We need to be above 500 at this point or else we're missing the playoffs. And we start the month off with another loss. What is happening with this team? And what is happening with, like, everything? At this rate, we're not making the playoffs, guys. At this rate, we're not making the playoffs unless for some reason the game just gives us, like, 20 straight wins. We had a bad month again. 27, 33, and 2. And I think we're last place in the Atlantic. Yep, we're last place in the Atlantic. The last playoff team has 72 points. Actually, well, yeah, 72 points? Yeah, 72 points. We're on 56. We're not making the playoffs in this year. There's no way we're making it. We have 20 games left, which means we have a maximum of 40 more points. The most we could get is 96 points. And we have one less game played than the Maple Leafs, which is nice, but it's not going to make much of a difference if they're winning games still. I don't think we're going to make the playoffs this year. And we're going to have a draft lottery pick, which does not really make much sense. Because I've even changed the coach. I went back to the old coach, and we're still not doing well. So, what is the problem? I honestly don't even know. And I don't even really care to look and see if we need to make any changes anywhere else. We just got to sim this season, and I don't know. Put this season out of our minds. This is definitely the worst season I've ever seen this team play since we were like a rebuilder. Interesting. We do beat Toronto there, so that's a nice win to have considering they're in the last playoff spot. But we're way out of it. If we get back into the playoff hunt, though, somehow, this team might win the Stanley Cup, but that's going to take a lot of work to get to that point. 5 games there, 8 games. Let's go to the 12th, see how we do in these 5 games. We need to win every single one of them, please. And then we start off with a 7-1 loss. What the hell, man? Hey, there's a couple more wins. Good stretch there. We're on 64 points with one more game played than the Maple Leafs, who are at 76 points in a wild card spot at the moment. Because we're not catching the Penguins, probably, who's on 78. We can still make it, but it's going to take no losses almost. Let's see how we do in this week of 3 games. Come on, guys. Get me some dubs. And we go perfect that week. Okay, so all of a sudden this team is turning it around. We might be also cheesing ourselves out of a good pick. Is it too little, too late? We have 6 wins in our last 7 games. We are only 11 points back of the wild card spot now, which is still a big thing that came up with. We still got to pass the Red Wings, who are only 2 points above us. We got to pass the Bruins, who are 9 points above us, and then, 11 points for the Maple Leafs. It might be too little too late. This team might be just cheesing himself out of a good pick right now, which is not good. Watch, we're going to win the draft lottery somehow after all this. Oh, boy. We do win there. We do win there, and we lose to the Sharks. That's not a good loss to have. We are currently at 74 points. Wild card spot is at 85. 85. So we're 9 points back now. We are starting to make up some games, but we're 9 points back, and we only have 8 games to go, which means the most we could get is another, 16 points. So we are very close to being eliminated from playoff contention. Let's go these 2 games. These are crucial, as every game is. Win there, and a shootout loss there. It's still a point, but that shootout loss might come back to bite us. 77 points, last playoff spot has 87. We're 10 points back with 6 games to go. The most we could get is 12 points. So we have to win every single game, and Boston can't win a single game, or else I think our playoff hopes are done. Oh, man, this shouldn't have happened this year. You guys are going to be very disappointed, just like I am. I don't know what the problem is. We might have to just fire the entire coaching staff in the offseason and try and find new coaches that work better with everybody on this team. Because this team is way too skilled to miss the playoffs. There's a nice win. Okay. Are we eliminated from contention yet? We have 5 games to go. The most we can get is 10 more points, which is 89. Bruins are on 87. Caps are on 89 as well. So, yeah, Bruins are very close to clinching a playoff spot. That's not ideal. I don't think we're going to make the playoffs. I think we're just going to miss because we're winning a lot of games down the stretch, but it was too late. It was too late. 2 games in a row, New Jersey, LA. We need to win every one of them. And we do win both. Okay. We're on 83 points. Wildcard spots on 91 and 94. I think we are missing the playoffs. I didn't see that notification if we missed the playoffs or not, but I think we did. Yep, failing to make the playoffs. This team, after going to round 2 for the first time, falls apart early in the season, and that comes back to cost them. Wow. 3 games left. The most we get is way out of a playoff spot. That really sucks, man. That really sucks. Good stretch near the end, but it was way too late. Like, we're playing really good hockey here near the end of the season, so we better win the cup next year, because missing the playoffs with this skill of a team does not make sense. We finished 42, 37, and 3, which is 87 points, almost 10 points back of that last playoff spot. Oh, man. Let's get every team simulated up. And Will almost hits 100 points. Doesn't hit 50 goals this season. Some of you guys were saying he'd return to form, but he didn't. And this team didn't. Oh, boy. Not ideal. Let's take a look at our player stats and team stats. What was the problem this year? What was the problem? Where did we finish? We were... Yeah, see, we cheesed ourselves out of a good pick, too, based on how we played near the end of the season. 19th best in the NHL. Goals for per game. We were pretty solid offensively, but it definitely wasn't the best. Tied with the Ottawa Senators, like a little bit below mid-table. Goals against per game wise, we were actually a pretty solid defensive team, looks like. Yeah, better defensively than offensively. Power play percentage was pretty good, it looks like, as well. Around mid-table, I think I saw. Yeah, 21.3%. Penalty kill was the problem this year. 77.7%. If that penalty kill does better, we maybe make the playoffs. So we definitely need to clean house on the coaching staff maybe in the offseason and trying to find ourselves somebody that could actually get us some wins. Like, look at that. We cheesed ourselves out of a good pick. 7-2-1 in our last 10 games, but we still missed the playoffs by a large margin. Not ideal. Let's take a look at our player stats. Man, I didn't realize we were going to be out of the playoffs this year. God damn. Will, 99 points is great, plus 30. Ahinen had 87 points, plus 26. 84 points from Stajan is great. So our top line, because obviously Stajan was on the top line at the beginning, really good. Our power play unit from these three guys did good as well. But Piero Zabottle and a lot of the other depth scoring fell off. Piero Zabottle only 49 points this year. 6 goals, 43 assists. Way less than last year. 30 points less. Is it because I didn't give him a long-term extension? I don't know. But he didn't perform. Sherov, 45 points is one of his worst seasons in a while. He's dropping off a lot too, which is not what we need. He's hit 500 career points, which is amazing, but he's now an exact bottom 6. And yeah, maybe he's not as good as we see anymore. He only has 1 more year left after this season. Mason, 23 points, solid as a 4th liner, but need more out of these guys. The depth scoring is just not there. Lehman on 74 points is pretty solid still. Weber on 38 is okay. And Vlasic on 35 is okay, but the plus minus is not good. Right wing wise, De La Rovere on 58 points. He also dropped off a lot offensively. He dropped off by almost 20 points. Sergeyev on his rookie season, 30 points is pretty good. He was also plus, so I will take that from the rookie. Mathieu had 24 points, not terrible either as a 4th liner. Defensively, Boy's on 30 points. He actually had the best defensive season of his career almost, I think. Yeah, so that's at least good. Kolesnik, 25 points, plus 20 is great. Rizzi was 20 points and plus 22. That's really good. Sidu on 19 points, plus 5. But Dimitra and the addition of Felipe Flood into our lineup was not ideal. So I know you guys said to put Felipe Flood in. I definitely agree that was the right move to do. But it did not work at all. Him and Dimitra were a terrible defensive pairing, and that might be why we missed the playoffs. Goaltending-wise, Sonnenberg was not ideal either. A 903 save percentage and a 306. How does that compare to last year? It was better than last year by save percentage standards, but goals against-wise, not so much. Sonnenberg has been kind of weird as a goalie. He is signed for 3 more years. And in Norton as a backup, the rookie didn't do well. He does have that medium elite potential, so that's why he was in net. But yeah, he did rough. He did pick up our only shutout of the season, though, so that's not ideal for Sonnenberg. Let's take a look at stats around the league. Yeah, this is not good, man. We need to respond next season for sure. McDavid and Draisaitl both hit over 130 points. Hey, something's realistic at least. Matthews on 123, Marner on 122, Caulfield up there. Tuukka Kuda on 106. Goddamn, 70 goals from that guy. I could have used that by now. Oh, man. What about Selke candidates? Do we have anybody up there for the Selke? Probably not. It's probably Marco Rossi, Lundell, and Svoboda up there for sure. Defensively, best defenseman in points was Adam Fox on 96. Brant Clark on 85. There we go. Goalie-wise, Dag on 40 wins. Most shutouts, Ottinger and Hammerlow with 5. Best save percentage, Chandler Cunning with a 920 save percentage. Jeez. I wish I could get goaltending like that. And yeah, Cunning might win the Vezina. Might win the Vezina. Could we have drafted this guy? Probably. I don't know. And best goalie assist-wise was Niittymaki with 6 assists. Jeez. Best rookie this season was Bryant Lindsay of the Rangers with 71 points. Oscar Klefbom with 58. Junior Alos with 51. And same with Stefan Lilia. Macaulay up there with 50 as well. Okay. So there's that. Did our AHL team make the playoffs at least? Did our AHL team make the playoffs? They did not either. I mean, Reese Addison had a good season, though, so maybe there's some good positives from the AHL at least to take away from this season. We'll definitely have to take a look at the draft lottery and all that stuff in this episode, because obviously missing the playoffs sucks. Who's going to win the Cup in 2034 since we didn't make the playoffs? Detroit also didn't make the playoffs, and they're the team that knocked us out in the second round last year and got all the way to the Cup finals, so weird season. Really weird season. And a Stanley Cup champions, the Carolina Hurricanes. Interesting. Let's take a look at that Carolina Cup winning team, just because I know some of you guys are interested in stuff like that. See who is on it. So, let's Let me see. This screen is being very, very slow right now for some reason. Let's see. Pretty much the usual suspects of a Carolina team. Some guy named Pavelski. Yeah, pretty similar roster. They do have two guys with... that's interesting. These guys are EA generated, but they have the same last name. They're drafted a year apart, so... Hey, those guys are siblings for sure, probably. And defensively, Christian Kyrou. Interesting. Since we have him in our Jet series. Goalie-wise, Samsonov. Interesting. Oh, I need to take a look at the awards. God damn. I don't really even care about the awards at this stage. I'm just want to get to another offseason and get through that fast. Okay, Edmonton President's Trophy. Chicago, Carolina Cup Finals. McDavid, Draisaitl, Fox, McDavid again. Lindsay the Calder. Aho the Conn Smythe. Cunning the Vezina. It's crazy. Anna Jennings. Korzak the Masterton. Prusik the Adams for Vancouver. Selke going to Marco Rossi. Lindsay going to Draisaitl. And Tuukka Kuda, his first Maurice Richard. Any AHL awards for our team? No. Well, that sucks. That sucks. Let me take a look at the AHL player stats from the regular season as well, because I didn't do that yet. I want to see how guys simulated. Addison was good. Darcy Watton was good, but he's 27 now at this point. Wow, terrible plus minuses, probably because of the coaches. Yeah, we need to change all of our coaches, NHL and AHL, I think. Because, yeah, not ideal. Not ideal. Okay. Well, let's simulate to the offseason, find out where we're drafting. If we have the first overall pick, I'm going to laugh, but we do not have the first overall pick. We have the 15th overall pick, which means probably just a generic top 6 forward, top 4 defenseman. Maybe a low leap. But, yeah, not ideal. There's the retirement class, just in case you guys wanted to see any of these players. Goalie-wise, Vasilevsky has retired. That's at least good. In terms of our coaching staff, did we lose anybody? We did lose Visnovsky, which I think was our goalie coach. That's fine. In Burnaby, we didn't lose anybody. I'm probably going to still re-clean up our coaching staff in the offseason. Let me go to draft interviews just in case, but I don't think I'm going to do any interviews. We are drafting 15th. Is this the offensive defenseman we were looking for? It could be. I'm going to pin him. He honestly could be our pick over that DFD. What else we got here? Sterling. Some of these guys are probably just top 4s. But I'll pin everybody around this point. I'm definitely not going for a high top 6D. I can tell you that much. Okay, any low leads to pin. Or things we could reach for at our pick. There's a medium elite goalie that's listed as a gem. We'll pin him for sure. Medium elite two-way forward, supposed to go second round. That I am definitely going to be taking in the second round, because I think we have a high up enough pick that we'll be able to grab Bo Campoli, who's a two-way forward, medium elite, 2 years out. He's 19, but we'll definitely have to take that guy in the next round. What about any low late steals? Yes, we got a couple. We got Ted Crane, who's also supposed to go late first round. We could take him. There's also Habscheid, who's a really late pick. There's also Bear White, who's very late as well. Supposed to go undrafted. Okay. So at least some solid prospects in this year's draft. Let's take a look, though, at the progress reports and contract situation. Because if anything is going to be good this year, it's going to be we got a lot of growth in the system. So up for renewal, though, we have a lot of big contracts to dish out. Piero Zabal and Rizzi are the big two. Piero Zabal wants a bridge deal to UFA standard because 8 years he wants over $13 million. Rizzi has only 2 years before he's a UFA. So we might have to give him like a 4-year deal at like 5 or something. I think Paul Mayer might walk, but I'm not 100% sure on that. What's his asking price? $3 million. That's not terrible. We'll see. Mason should easily come back. Yeah, he's really cheap. Petterman might come back as a depth option because we'll turn injuries on next season for sure. Because next season should be a better team. And yeah, we have a lot of other AHL kind of guys that need to be re-signed. Goalie-wise, we got Gove to bring back for the AHL. Harrison is a pending UFA. Do we sign this guy for our AHL team as a third-string goalie? I don't even know if we have the goalie space, because I believe Nikitin is still under contract, right? Yeah, Nikitin's still under contract, so I don't think we could even really sign Harrison, because we already have Solis, Gove, Nikitin, and we have our 2 NHL goalies, so I don't think we're able to get him, which is kind of annoying. Okay, let's go to our progress reports. This is the only thing that could salvage this episode, is if we actually have good growth from some of our guys. Norton's up to an 80. A lot of statistical growth on some guys. Some guys are dropping off statistically, and that might be what's hurting our team. We're not actually as good as we look. Because Sonnenberg dropped to an 84. Wilma's getting statistical growth. That's good. Matthews is 79. I don't know how this team missed the playoffs still. I just don't. And in the system, Mangone up to a 67 as a low 4 is pretty nice. Paco up to a 68 as a medium elite is nice, but he's obviously still a long ways away. Couturier up to a 57. LaBarbera up to a 64. Booze up to a 71 at 22. I don't know if he reaches his medium elite potential. Haken up to 74 at 21. Hamalainen's a 73 at 21. I don't think we're getting much growth either in the system. Felipe Flood's actually a 77 depth defenseman, so he's not actually as good as we were thinking. Our medium elite in Anderson's only up to a 69 at 21. We're not getting growth in our system either. Well, we have hit a wall with this team. And our mission next is to somehow break through that wall and get our team back into the playoff hunt again. And also getting growth from our prospects, because obviously not doing that is not ideal. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it through the offseason. We'll try and get ourselves more good prospects in. We'll try and get this team set up the right way coaching-wise, and hopefully that translates to an actual playoff season again where we could get out of the second round, because missing the playoffs with this skilled of a team just doesn't make sense. And the fact that guys like Stajan and Sharoff, they're all going to be coming to an end with their amazing contracts soon, means we need to make the playoffs, or else we might lose them, and that might send us further down into like the whirlpool of defeat, so to speak. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.